welcome again to the Defense Chronicles. This is Leslie Bocobo. Tonight we have with us Attorney Dennis Manalo. Good evening, Attorney Manalo. You started, your first question was with Congressman Toby Tiangco. You said, and I quote you, fishing capital of the Philippines. What were you trying to imply there? Because I think you were cut off to further say something else.
Well, I think there are people who understood it like it was a sarcasm or what we call in the vernacular, patama, to the fishing expedition on evidence that was committed by the prosecution. But that was not my intention. That was just to highlight the popular trade of Navotas. I think the people of Navotas should be very proud of their congressman there, of Congressman Toby Tiangco.
Okay. Later today, we heard the prosecution tell Congressman Tiangco, but you got the PDAF, didn't you? Now, we seem to see it in the sense that timing here is important. Can you explain why timing here is important, Attorney Manalo? Why the PDAF has to be given or has to be received by a member of the House on time?
You have to understand the nature of the fund. These funds are supposed to finance projects, social development projects and infrastructure projects. Like the good congressman explained, there are constituents from his district that require medical attention. So without the funding of the without the funding for the medicine, for the hospitalization, how will he be able to provide this needed help? This also goes with educational assistance, like scholarships. How would the funds be able to finance those who would be going to school in June, when the funds will be released in August? So these are big problems, and of course, you also have the infrastructure projects like roads, like bridges, where these things are usually time-based projects, which you schedule during the summer months so that construction will not be delayed. If you release it at a time where construction will also be at a halt, then these projects which are intended to help the people will be delayed. And the problem here for the congressman is that his constituents will complain, and the constituents will think that he is a negligent public servant, that he does not act on time, that he does not act in accordance with the needs of his people. That is why the congressmen are actually concerned about not only the release of their Priority Development Assistance Fund, but also the timely release of that fund.
Is this a standard practice with the members of the majority for specific colleagues in the House if they do not toe the line? I mean, this is nothing that Congressman Tiangco should be surprised with. Isn't that a fact?
You know, that is the nature of the testimony of Congressman Tiangco. He said that what he is basically saying is that public funds are being dangled on the congressmen so that they will succumb to the wishes of those in the administration party. But according to Congressman Tiangco, his testimony, he has to act based on his principles, and he cannot be pressured into acting for or against any measure without him being able to study and evaluate it. Kasi you know, that is really understandable. Baka mamaya binebenta na niya yung constituents niya, hindi pa niya alam. Dahil lang ba sa pondo na galing sa PDAF, pipirma ka na lang ng pipirma. I don't think that is the proper way of governing.
But he got his PDAF, right?
He did.
And that's not good enough.
It's not good enough because he needs to get his PDAF on time. Okay. And he actually feared that his PDAF for 2012 might be used against him again. That is actually his fear. That were his concerns when he was being confronted with the impeachment of Chief Justice Corona.
Yes.
He had to weigh the pros and cons of signing or not. And fortunately, in the case of Congressman Tiangco, he was able to fight the pressure, to fight the intimidation, the undue influence imposed on them. I don't know with the other congressmen. That is precisely the reason why we want to call the others, especially those who signed. We want to know, were they influenced? Were they in any way intimidated? Because if these things come into fore and these are presented in court, then the integrity not only of the complaint, but also the complainants would come into issue. And when a ruling is made by the impeachment court, they would see that there seems to be that the validity of the charges against Chief Justice Corona may be in doubt. And all that we need to do is create a doubt. If there is a doubt, then I think the senator judges will acquit.
Now, Congressman Tiangco said tonight that merong mga masama ang loob. In confidence, he said that those who signed the articles of impeachment, he said that meron dyan mga masasamang loob. Are we now being told that there are other Toby Tiangcos out there?
Obviously, there are those who, like Congressman Tiangco, abhor this practice that was done in Congress, that an impeachment complaint was rammed upon them for signature, no deliberation, no questions asked. If you don't want to sign, don't sign. But if we cannot discuss it. What kind of a deliberative, what kind of a democratic process is that? You file an impeachment complaint without even discussing it among those who will sign it, whether there is really evidence to support the charges. If that is the practice that we will allow, if that is the practice that is allowable, then all impeachable officers will lose the security of tenure that they're supposed to have under the law. They will be imperiled day in, day out of threats of impeachment, because it would seem that even if there is no probable cause, for as long as you have the numbers, that's enough. But I don't think that is the spirit of the law.
Yes.
The spirit of the law says that if you are going to accuse somebody of an offense, regardless of who he is, he may be the poorest man in this country to the richest man in this country, there has to be basis. There has to be evidence when you charge anybody. You cannot pull out any kind of accusation from thin air and say that no, you are going to face a trial. I think the spirit of the law says that we cannot allow that.
When you were questioning Congressman Tiangco, I take it that you were attempting to establish a pattern that was done in the past based on the impeachment of Ombudsman Merceditas Gutierrez, wherein members of the majority would do this modus operandi, and I quote you, you mentioned that term. Is it the same thing over again?
Yes.
Yes.
That is really the testimony of Congressman Tiangco, that the pattern of using pressure through deprivation of funds is again happening, because if you will recall, in the impeachment of Merceditas Gutierrez, he said that there was also a text message coming from the leadership of the House. Nobody will get their PDAF if they do not agree to the impeachment. Now in the impeachment of CJ Corona, they said, no questions asked, no discussion. To him, that is a pattern of
Yes.
pressure being laid upon the members of Congress.
Yes. Earlier tonight, the attorney Manalo, I heard some people talking and they were kind of whispering to each other and they were saying, what's wrong with 188 members of the House signing the articles of impeachment? Because a lot of people still do not see the manner that this was done. So, per se, what really is wrong with it? This is enshrined in the Constitution, of course. This is a...
Yes, it is enshrined in the Constitution, that's true. And there is nothing wrong with the 188 congressmen impeaching an impeachable officer. There's nothing wrong with that. That is valid, that is a legal act. But what is wrong with it is when it is railroaded, when it is filed notwithstanding the fact that there is no evidence on record. What if, let us say for example, an impeachable officer like the President or the Vice President will be impeached, let us say for example, for murder or homicide, when in fact there was no one killed. It's just that 188 members decided, no, we will charge you of murder or homicide.
Is it...
But there is no dead body. There is no witness who said you killed anybody. It's just their whim, a caprice, an oppressive act. Are we going to allow that? Is that the spirit of the Constitution? It cannot be. There is no civilized society that will allow anybody to be held in court, to be brought to court without any evidence to support the charge. That is simply unacceptable and unheard of.
Tomorrow we will be having Congressman Tiangco again back in the witness stand. What do you expect him to come up with?
Well, it's going to be questioning now from the senators. As far as the prosecution and the defense are concerned, we are done with our presentation of Congressman Tiangco. Now I expect that the senators are politicians and they would know the ins and outs of the testimony of Congressman Tiangco. What he said, they understand it fully, I'm sure. So I expect that there will be the questioning might go into matters that are privy among politicians only.
Atty. Manalo, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us once again with the Defense Chronicles.